All right, guys, it is time. It's Classic versus Clem. Thunderfire, $50,000 Invitational, and it is going to be a big best of 5 and a rematch. Of course, Clem got beaten by Clem in the World Championship last year. He also got beaten by Classic in the RSL as well. So Clem's lost a few big matches to Classic over the last 6 months. Classic, honestly, I think Clem looked tilted against him at the World Championship. I thought Clem did not play his best StarCraft in the matchup. I think definitely it was a very hard meta for TVP where the energy recharge was so powerful. That got nerfed. Storm got changed. It's not as brutal as it used to be in terms of damage, even though it's a bigger radius. I still think Protoss has a good mid game against Terran. I would argue a little favored in the mid game, but Terran late game is now massively advantaged. Vikings are cheaper. Ghosts have more hit points. If Clem gets to end game, we've seen even in his most recent run-in with Classic, he will dominate Classic in the end game. Getting there though, that's another story, because he got there in one game in their last series, smashed him in the end game, like 30,000 resource difference in the trading. But getting past Classic's Storm Colossus push has proved to be very difficult for Clem. Clem, Classic will open Storm, get a good economy, defend anything you throw at him. Such a safe player, always probe scouts like he's done here, and checks what's going on. And then he just goes Colossus off the back of Storm while taking a 4th, and he pushes with like 10 High Templar maxed on energy, 4 to 5 Colossus, bunch of Zealots, few Stalkers, couple of Archons, and Clem has struggled to have enough EMPs to deal with that. I think he's often panic EMPing on the Archons and the Colossus as they dance in and out, and then Classic's so good at pulling 1 High Templar forward at a time to storm him. A few solutions Clem could have for this. Number 1 would be actually flank with a ghost or even do a ghost drop on those High Templar, because Classic keeps them very clumped up with just near the front line. If you could flank him with a surprise ghost or 2 or a ghost drop on top of his army and just bam, drop the EMP, that could absolutely ruin that push. The other thing is, of course, just be a little bit more patient on your EMPs and use those Vikings to zone those Colossus out. I also believe Clem could rush range lib. I think Classic's very weak to range lib because no one does it except Maru. And Maru only does it if he's behind in the game. He'll turtle to it as a sort of, this will ensure I don't die sort of play. But last time he did it to Classic last year at Dallas, Classic looked very confused about how to play against that. Didn't look like he had much of a plan. And that's why I've been calling for guys to do this against Classic ever since, but no one's really done it. Great SCV micro there for Clem, keeping that alive. It's a fast 1-rack expand. Notice he did not go Reaper on such a big map. It's a Cyclone into 3 barracks behind that. So it's going to be a very heavy unit opening for Clem. And one thing we saw in their last matchup you're going to notice is Clem is going to try and play very light on siege tanks. And he will try to completely skip siege tanks if possible, but often only build 1 or at most 2. And the reason why is Classic is a defensive Protoss. He doesn't rush 4-gate blink. Even when he does, he's not very good at attacking with it. He'll go 4-gate blink, but like won't build a Robo and a Warp Prism. So he'll only be able to blink in once with a hallucination, and then he has to leave and get out. So it's not the same threat level of a Max Pax or a Hero when you're playing Classic, but Classic's 3rd base will come up earlier, his probing will be better, his tech will come up faster, so there's more pressure on Clem to get aggressive. So Clem's going to try and cut the corner of the safety tank, skip that, go straight to Stim, Shields, Medivacs, and get across that map with Bio and start trading with Classic as early as possible. On a big map like this, though, it's going to be hard to find the damage. I think Clem's going to have to play fast and loose, take some risks, dive some drops in the natural, dive some drops in the main, stim in, and be willing to throw the game, essentially, by being overly aggressive in the middle stage, or early middle stage at least. And once that middle stage is over and Storm's out and it feels like Classic has control, pull back, go turtle mode, and just try to survive till late game. But I think be a bit brash and in your opponent's face early, and then swap over a bit later. Phoenix sees a lot of Bio out already. Stalker's going to try to get on the front to harass him down. But like I said, it's 5 minutes. 5 Stalkers on the front line, and already he's going to go charge. Probably see a Robo-Bay, or actually Templar Archives is what he's favored instead of Colossus recently against Clem. We'll see if Classic sticks to that pattern. Stalkers come in. They grab themselves only 1 Marine so far. Gets himself a 2nd one. Good blink micro. And of course that Cyclone has to be careful. Does get a good lock on. But just going to push Classic back for now. It is indeed Storm one more time. Classic says it worked last time. It's worked many times against him. Why would I change what is not broken? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's an Artosis pylon on the right side of that base. Needs a Tasteless to back him up. He'll accept a state. Maybe a Gemini or something like that. But he would prefer a tasteless. No offense to State and Gemini, much love. We appreciate you guys. Nothing can separate the original Bert and Ernie of StarCraft, even a few thousand kilometers between Canada and Korea. Marine drop does get spotted by a probe, so he unloads. I think Classic's very happy to have spotted that 10 worker difference. Storm is started. Charges on the way. Classic's almost at those 8 gateways. I wouldn't mind Clem sniping the pylon on that bottom side and then just backing up, but I was saying he should be a bit brash. Is Clem maybe giving him too much respect right now, guys? Like, if he just went in there, Charge wasn't ready, Storm wasn't ready. This is a bit worried about the force field, but oh, Sentry goes down, and Charge is still 5 seconds away. Ooh, the medevac gets feedback, though. But look, he's stimming in the natural at the same time. Beautiful engagement. Storm's not quite ready. This is the timing, just before Storm's ready. This drop on the left is going to get hammered, but the army down here on the bottom right is actually trading so well. Classic going straight to Storm. 5 gases, 66 workers. It's a bit too greedy. Clem's going to let these Widow Mines clear up those 3 Zealots. It does take out his own medevac, though, in this bio. They are on borrowed time right now. They've taken too much damage. He needs to get those out of there. The Marines in the natural picture-on-picture have killed 8 probes, though. These guys stayed too long, though. He's going to lose all these Marauders now. He's going to lose so many, and his reinforcement really slow. The tail end of this fight was appallingly bad. It was so good for a while, and he even loses the medevac. This looked like a game that was going to snowball massively in the Terran favor. He just stopped and killed his own Marine as well. The panic, you can see the stress from Clem. He just friendly fired a Marine for no reason. Keep in mind, guys, who are the 2 players who kill their own units every game? Type in the comments. I think anyone who watches my channel knows they are the 2 fastest players in the world, Clem and MaxPax. They have more friendly fire from A-clicking their own units accidentally while spamming buttons than any other player in the history of StarCraft 2. Hero doesn't do it very much. Hero does it sometimes, but MaxPax actually does it more than Hero, believe it or not. But yeah, Hero's up in that club as well. Reyna's pretty good about it. I don't know why Zerg players don't do it as much as Terran and Protoss. Probe's going to go down. Nice stim to the south. Oh, Trigger does it a lot as well, actually. Trigger's also a high APM spam clicky-clack kid. Those 3 Marines get caught. Good clean up there by Classic. Classic's down in supply, but he's going double Forge and Robobay. He's double Forge only coming up now, though. That double drop going in towards the main. There's a High Templar already. Is that a High Templar in that prism? I think it is. Yep, good. Defensive Storm drop. That's very cute. So I'm just going to take out the Forges, though. That's big. Or at least 1 Forge. A couple Stalkers would be really good. Picks up, saves some of the units. Oh, he saves them all! He's in dangerous territory, though. He's actually in range of getting dropped again. Clem trying to fight on such a big map. On a smaller map, with the way this game started, this would have been lights out for Classic. But as it is, 4th base, 2nd starport coming in. Clem is ahead of the curve. He should have a pretty easy path to the late game. I would say he's in a fantastic spot. That first timing on the 3rd while the 8 Marine drop hit the natural was just so good. Oh, this is a crazy drop. This is a crazy move. But if he gets a bunch of Stalkers while canceling the 4th, it's not a big army. It's like 3 ghosts. There we go. Okay, more Marauders coming. He will get rid of the 4th. No picture-in-picture on this one. There is a redrop in the main. He managed to save some of the units and drop in the main. EMP's coming down. Widow Mines as well. He clears all of them. That's it. That's it. Classic has nothing left. There's still Marauders in the main. His 2nd Forge is going down in the picture-in-picture. Stalkers are falling. Zealot counter does cancel the 4th base of Clem. But Clem gets the prism with the High Templar inside. Classic, everything is falling apart for the Protoss player. And despite it being a gigantic map, this is the big advantage Clem has against Classic. Classic inspires 0 fear in Terran players in the early game because he never commits to 3 or 4 gate blink pressure. If you guys look at Clem's openings against any other Protoss, he plays so much greedier against Classic. That's a smart adjustment. It's, you know, this sort of adjusting to your opponent is what made Maru the player who has been the greatest Terran player of all time for so many years, dominating the international scene. And Clem's ability to adapt to his opponents is really evolving. Very well played. All right, guys. Classic in the bottom right, Clem in the top left. Classic has sent one of his first probes across the map to make sure he's not getting proxied. And that's interesting. But he wasn't able to really get the barracks off position. These maps, it's not the tiniest rush distance, so you can't really block the barracks. And we're staring at the ledge. I guess just thinking about, yes, he's going to wall the Reaper jump spot. I think Clem plays Reaper on this map, guys. I think skipping Reaper makes sense on Old Republic and then just going for the Cyclone for map control. But on this map, 10k feet, oh, he goes Marine. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so this tells me Clem is probably not going to be building a lot of Reapers against Classic. I think Classic's early game defense is so good. Clem is like, skip, don't waste money on Reapers, don't waste money on Hellions, don't waste money on defensive siege tanks. Basically, Clem is speedrunning, getting a second base, and rushing Stim Shield's medevacs. And Classic, it's going to be his job to put some fear into Clem. Like, you got to get in there with a 4-gate blink or something, bud. You gotta punish this son. Sorry, guys, it feels weird calling Classic son since, I think the last time I played Classic, I don't know if I've ever played him, actually, since I've been a retired old man, but I always think of the time I played him in an Asian qualifier finals for one of the IEM tournaments, back when Australia got to share our region with Korea. Always fun. I got to play against Classic back then. I killed one of his armies. He killed 6 of mine. It was a very competitive game, very close, very fair. Good days. Beating with Classic, Zest, Sue back in those days. I occasionally made them play a 10-minute game. Sometimes even 20 minutes before they mauled the heck out of me. Classic's also the guy I learnt Protoss from originally. I modeled my PVT after his. Beginning of Legacy of the Void. I think he's a good player to copy. I think he's got like very clear ideas and paths that he follows. And sometimes he will mix in a cheese. He used to mix in a lot more cheese than recently, but Dark Shrine's a clever idea. Clem's not building Raven. He's going straight up the tech tree. He does look like he's going Widow Mine Drop this time, which could scout this, but are we going to build a forward pylon, or is he just going to run DTs across the map? I always feel like if you don't have a forward warp-in pylon, a Dark Templar build's not as effective. Let's see if this works. Classic has had Clem's number all of last year. There's been a few big wins for Classic over the last year. He's been the one guy who at a few big moments has beat Clem. But if you look at the totality of all their weekly tournaments, Clem has had periods where he's dominated Classic, and it hasn't even looked competitive. But I do think the fact that Classic's brought out big wins, because I see people debating about this in chat, there's been these moments where basically Classic steps up when it really matters. And that's what people are going to remember. I don't care how many times like Clem destroys Classic in a best of 3 or best of 5 weekly cup. We're going to remember the Esports World Cup where Classic mauled him, right? We're going to remember even the offline RSL finals, or not the offline, but the season 3, where he did really good against him, because that was a big best of 7, right? It's those big series people remember. Big money, big duration. Good Widow Mine Drop here for Clem. Doesn't see the Dark Shrine, which was really bad for him. Oh, good retargeting though. Oh, he didn't unburrow that in time. Is he building a Raven though? I think he is. He doesn't. He's scouting. He sees the Dark Shrine. Just as the DT is coming, at least that gave him like a 1-second warning. And the Raven pops out just in time in the main. That DT does get taken out pretty quickly. And the DT and the natural, look at that. He even microed that SCV off the engineering bay and away. Only 4 SCVs go down. A pretty successful defense for Clem, but he didn't kill many probes. Classic handled the Widow Mine Drop well, has a 3rd coming up. I still think this is a very competitive game on both sides. You only lose 1 Dark Templar there. He's going to make a 2nd one now. You might think, why is he making another Dark Templar? He's going to morph these into an Archon. He's going to go do an Archon drop to try and be a nuisance. Clem is probably going to be not having a Viking for quite some time, so Archon's very annoying for Marines to deal with. Oh, there is a Viking already, never mind. Clem respecting the follow-up drop. And so many Marines in the main as well. Clem has actually been traumatized by Max Pack's Warp Prism in the past, and to the point where he takes Warp Prisms so seriously. Chat says Clem will proxy Starport Hellion drop game 3. Do you know what map it's going to be? I feel like you're probably not wrong that he might mix that in, just to completely change the pace of the series. We'll see how it goes. Oh, it's actually not an Archon drop. It's just a DT drop. Classic. Please watch your Prism. Please watch your Prism. Please watch your Prism. We've had a day of clean sweeps so far. I hope this doesn't go in the same direction. What Prism does pull away. Storm's already almost up. And Classic, he's going to saturate his 3rd very quickly. Like, he should just be rallying to his third already, which I think he is. Only thing Classic's missing is, like, his upgrades do come in quite late. This is the best way to play Protoss and be really safe. Oh, the drop slides by, which is actually quite nice for Clem. Clem's got units nearby. Should be able to save that combat shields easily. The Archon does get an SCV kill. Oh, double auto turret goes down. And did Clem just boost after that? I'm not sure if Clem boosted after, but he didn't get the Prism. Double auto turret doesn't get the Prism. I think Classic's really happy because now the Raven's just out of juice. The Marines, they do have stim. They're going to get a couple probes. Not as many as maybe he was hoping for. Kind of surprised he didn't focus the High Templar, but oh my gosh, what is this micro? He gets the Prism with an Archon inside! Oh my gosh! And he gets a High Templar on top. Classic! Look at his face. It was just a silly mistake. I think he just assumed Clem was leaving. Kind of stopped looking at it, went to look elsewhere to go build some other stuff. He's going to take a fourth Nexus, build more probes, but that's a disastrous mistake for Classic. It's such an integral tool, that Warp Prism. And now Clem is just going to shove forwards. Oh, those 3 Marines did stay in Storm a bit too long. Tank the Marines, the Landed Viking. He realizes Classic's got like 4 Zealots and a Stalker. He can't fight this. Oh, man. If he had an Archon and his army was further forward to intercept this a bit further away. But there we go. Big Zealot Warping does come in. Clem's Marines are pretty exposed at the front. He's worried about another Storm. I wouldn't mind Clem just picking up and dropping the main. I would not mind that. His army's a bit damaged, though, so it's definitely a little risky. He's going to rotate left with this army. Getting rid of the Observer would be really nice. The Observer's giving some good map hack vision there to Classic. An Invisible Man watching him. A few pylons coming down. Classic was a little supply block. Classic's got +1 and Immortals coming in. He's got a decent Storm count, I believe. But it's that drop in the main base that could do really big damage. Clem wisely respects the Storm. He's going to come in with the auto turret and a bit of bio back there. Feedback does go down. Oh, good Zealot counter. Lots of things happening at once right now. And Clem actually just abandons the main base to focus on the Zealot run by, so he doesn't risk throwing units away. Clem, it's so interesting. You can see he has such respect for Classic, and I almost feel like he's kind of missing opportunities to do a little bit more damage in these fights. Like, he could be a little more decisive with just committing. On the other hand, I love that he's not throwing units away. He's being so efficient, and like, we're not getting a lot of shots of the units lost tab, but we can imagine it's quite Clem favored. Good Widow Mine. Gets clipped by the Storm. But just clipped, that's all. Those Storms do buy a lot of time, though. Second Robo Colossus transition's underway despite this crazy heavy pressure. Great Storm to start. Raven will go down to that as it's just chilling inside it. Yeah, Raven gets popped. Stalker's taking some damage. Bio on the left is super over-damaged right now. Getting rid of a Robo's nice. If you could get rid of both Robos, then Classic's pretty dead. Yeah, it's worth committing. Oh, Robos are so weak. For those who don't know, Robos only have 450 hit points, 450 shields. Oh, but Classic punishes. He says, oh, you think you're good at multitasking? You could see Clem's face there. His mouth just opened wide. He was shocked. He was not watching that. Clem's multitask. I do think Classic is playing a little sloppy, and so is Clem. I mean, it's one of those things. First series of a big LAN tournament, and they're both kind of almost getting used to the stage, the setup, the setting, and they're both forcing mistakes from each other, but Classic's been on the ropes. Now he's on 75 probes. It feels like he should be fine because he's got the double forge. It's the delay on the double robo that really gives Clem so much time. If Classic didn't kill that army on the left, I think Clem just overruns him with the next attack. As it is, I think we might have this go to late game. Oh, feedback's on the ghosts. Oh, Classic's so good at that. This is something I've been wondering. I've been thinking, like, surely with the current meta, if you get really good at feedback, that's actually that's what makes a top tier High Templar user. Oh, is he gonna lose his Robos again? Gotta watch out for the High Templar. Good EMP there though. The Bio can just stand and fight. He'll trade pretty decent. Oh, the Stalkers are there though. Oh, not that good a trade actually. That army got back faster than I expected. He's gonna re-drop. I don't think this is worth if he loses these units. He's going to go drop in the main base. Clem trying to push right now, I don't think makes sense. I think his army's too small, and if Classic cleans up this army and defends the fourth with a recall on the left side, I think he's in a great spot, but Clem's just ahead of him. Clem's just ahead of him. No EMPs there, though. Clem cannot take that army fight. Oh, God. It's a bit of a messy spot. Classic's army's better. He's not fully prepared for these fights. The Archons are getting stuck in the main base, but they are cleaning it up, and that was a big throwaway of army on the right and the left for Clem. Classic kept his 4 bases alive, and now he can spring across the map. He might not even need to wait for Colossus. I actually think he might be able to go kill him right now. Observer 2 is going to throw a pause down, guys. Not exactly sure why, what's going on there, but maybe some sort of technical issue, which hopefully gets sorted out momentarily. Pig, why did... oh, I already answered that. Now you can go to China for 30 days without even having a visa, says Lonely Psych. Is that just an Australian thing, or is that most countries? Because, dude, I wish they had that back in the day. I used to friggin' have to go to that consulate for so long. Oh. I've had to have way too many visas for China over the years, man. I'm so jealous. Still, nothing's worse than the last BlizzCon, man. Last BlizzCon. I had to fly friggin' 5 hours to Perth on the other side of the country to get an appointment at the US consulate to get a friggin' visa for that thing. So dumb. Only saving grace was the security guard was a big WoW player. And I was wearing a StarCraft t-shirt, so we were chatting for ages while I was waiting for my appointment. All right, guys, back into it. DT's up here in the top side. Going to pick off a few SCVs, just a random DT. Classic's Extended Thermal Lance has just started. I think right now Clem is miles behind in terms of his current army and stuff, but the Colossus delay is going to buy him time to get to late game. So if if Clem goes for... He's got to focus on Ghost production, and I would love Libs. I don't think he's going to do the Libs that I was talking about. But if he focused on Ghost production, it'd be good. Right now, the problem is he's been losing a lot of Ghosts. They've been getting feedbacked a lot. And if he hits max Clem with only like 5 Ghosts, he just loses to the max. And yeah, he's got 4 Ghosts. That's not enough. Look at the production tab. No Ghosts on the production tab. I get Vikings are important to deal with the Colossus, but look at that High Templar count. This is the same mistake he's made the last time they played. Getting to max with 5 to 7 Ghosts, not enough for them. Pig, why'd you have to go to the US consulate? For a BlizzCon visa. Yeah. It was just because Blizzard was really bad at organizing things and didn't get it early enough. They left it to the last second. They're like, oh, whoops. We were meant to get you a letter and set up an appointment, but we didn't. So fly to Perth to do it. That's all, yeah. It was just a crazy, crazy thing. Me and Maynard both did it. We both flew there separate days to get the only appointments that would have got us a visa in time for the last BlizzCon. Dude, he's going to do this flanking Storm Drop. He did this last time. Storm Drop comes in. Decent initiating Storm, but he does lose the Prism. High Templar lands another Storm there, but the Vikings doing pretty well. The Vikings eat a Storm on the left side, though. Those Storms zoning the Vikings could be really good. One more zoning Storm could be massive, but good Viking shots for Clem. Remember, Clem's very low on EMPs. He's got to save those EMPs, use them sparingly. I really feel like Clem's in a very dangerous scenario because there's just so many High Templar there. Oh, no! Oh, Clem comes in, gets a Colossus or two. Most importantly, Clem's vying for space. Space is everything. If those High Templar get between him and his expansion, he's screwed. But as long as he stays out front, he's got room to pull back and dodge the storms. But look at how few EMPs he has. Classic's army, though, will not scale to endgame. If Clem survives without losing any major fights for like 3-4 more minutes, Classic's kind of screwed. He has to force a fight. He's got to do it soon. He doesn't have a way, because he lost his Prism, he doesn't have like a Zealot war, but if he could get 20 Zealots in the main, it'd be so hard for Clem to defend. But right now, Clem's every second that stalls is really good for Clem, really bad for Classic. You have to understand, all those blue dots going on the map, useless. Classic's not going to be able to mine from those long term, and he's going to get so out-traded if this game goes late. But he's pushing in. Clem's getting bullied. Clem lands 1 EMP, but the zoning storm is really juicy. Another one comes in. Ghost comes forward, gets feedbacked. I think he might have the position now. Those High Templar are dangerously far forward. Clem, he's got to retake that control of that area out front of his base. The Ghost, they land a decent EMP, but there's still 3 or 4 storms in the back. The Vikings do take care of another Colossus, so there's only 1 Colossus left. Classic's trading pretty poorly. He doesn't have a forward warp in point with a warp prism. I also don't know if Classic's gateway count is as high as it should be. Classic He needs to keep going. Like, he can't wait. He's warped in 15 zealots, so he's got at least 15 gateways. He's going to build cannons over there to block that command center, which is hilarious. He's got more money. He knows he's got to keep the pressure on. Clem is out of EMPs, guys. Classic's keeping him stimmed. The bio is damaged. Classic's playing brilliantly. Splitting a double drop is very dangerous here. Clem, he probably should not be risking that right now. The Ghost's looking for the EMPs. His High Templar does zone out those units. The Colossus do get taken out, but there's a lot of Zealots. He's got to pull back. He's got to pull the SCVs off that base. Ghosts are getting taken down. Cloak is up on those Ghosts, but look at that High Templar. They're coming forward. The bio spreads, but a lot of the Medevacs and Vikings are gone. Classic's going to be able to warp in another 16 Zealots. There we go. Those Zealots. That's what I'm talking about. And he's just going to push. He's going to overwhelm him. He's going to overwhelm Clem. Clem refusing to play range libs here. Range libs would have been an easy hold. I've talked about it before. Against Classic, if you go range libs, you can always survive on 4 base, especially if you're behind. I'm going to keep reiterating it because you can see how good Classic is at wearing down the Vikings with Psystorms and Stalkers and baiting out stims and wearing him down. Clem survives, but he's down 31. He's down 30 probes, 29 probes. His army's very small. Classic's reinforce will be able to overwhelm him if he just keeps on pushing, you know? Yeah, this is huge. Moving out with the double drop lost in the game, says chat. I do think it was an unnecessary move, moving out with the drop. But I understand why he did it. It feels bad to sit there just letting the Protoss take the whole map, but he should have been in survival mode. Clem, of course, he needed more time to get that Ghost energy up, and I think really the difference between Classic and other top Protoss players, why can't they do this, guys? Their High Templar micro just isn't on Classic's level. Classic will get 10 High Templar maxed on energy, and he never lets them get EMP'd. He'll only send one in front of the pack. He always splits on the edge of range and pulls one High Templar forward while the rest stay safe. Clem has not been able to get in. We talked about it at the start of the series. Unless he can Ghost drop or flank with a Cloaked Ghost or something and land the double EMP on the center, can't quite deal with it. Clem trying to turtle on 4 base, but his army's getting split by the Zealots. EMP's landing, but once again, you can see the EMPs are like never hitting more than one High Templar, and the High Templar is almost always getting the Storm off before that lands. This is the Classic difference. Just such good Storm usage. Clem's going to move out to take a 5th. Bad choice. Clem has to stay on 4 base and just try to survive, I think, even though his bases are drying up a little. Vikings will take care of the prison, but Clem's going to move to secure the left, which means he's going to lose control of the base on the right. Terrible decision. That's it. That's a GG decision. We've seen Maru against Serral make that decision a few times where he's hanging in, and then he just tries to take a base on the other side, and suddenly the opponent can hit him in like 3 or 4 places, and he's screwed. That's kind of what just happened. Even if Clem gets that command center up on the left, which I wouldn't count on. Oh, and he F2'd his Vikings away! Game-losing mistake potentially there. Classic is going to tie this series up, which I'm so happy about. I want to see a close series between these two. This has looked like a repeat of some of their recent series. Clem had an advantage again in this game, but I think he looked a little too afraid in the mid-game, maybe? Like, was he committing to the attacks or not? And he's overcommitted a few times. Gonna go forward with those Cloaked Ghosts. He wants to jump on this army, honestly. Nice snipes, good EMPs. Vikings gonna take out the Colossus. The Bio's gonna try and fight it out there, kiting that ground army. Very nice micro for Clem. And he can then just counterattack and win. Just kidding, guys. Classic has 20 gateways, warping in Zealots in his main base. Clem has to tap out. That's GG, dude. All right, guys. Looks like a Gate Scout in Game 3 on Winter Madness is so interesting because Classic, he always goes for that timing. Like I said, range lib, shuts it down. Like, you can imagine that sort of, the way Classic pushes forward to that army, if you've got like even just 3 or 4 range libs, you'll notice Classic's army doesn't have a lot of Stalkers. He's very reliant on a handful of Stalkers, but mostly Storm to deal with the Vikings. And the Colossus are there, like, and he kind of uses the range advantage on his army. He does such a good job with it. And range libs or even a few siege tanks completely turns that around. But as you guys know, Clem is allergic to siege units. It's the same reason why Rogue and other players can sometimes wreck him with lurkers if they kind of catch him off guard. Because when you play this kind of mobile unit style where you don't want to use tanks, you don't want to use libs, it's amazing when you're attacking and you've got map control and you're mobile. But if you're not absolutely perfect on your micro, you fall behind, you end up defending. It's much harder to defend a superior army. with that style. Whereas if you go for the other stuff, you can do it. Now, it is a Reaper first this time. First game where Clem's opened Reaper. And it is going to be a double gas, so a quick factory it looks like, right? And a very quick starport. So he wants to go for just a quick marine drop. Now, this map, it's very common to come and drop the natural base because it's quite exposed there. The natural mineral line. I imagine that's where, the thing is, Classic's so ready for it. Last time I saw him play this map against a Terran, he was just like, he was waiting for that drop with 3 Stalkers and a Sentry. The moment it flew in, I don't think it'll be like a full mine drop. I think it will be like 6 Marines and 1 Widow mine is what I would guess. We'll keep our eyes on it. Oh, it's actually a Cyclone. Well, that I was not expecting. That's peculiar. A Cyclone. Do you think he does a Cyclone for Marine drop, guys? Maybe. Don't see that very often. The Cyclone, of course, could just run across the map with the Reaper to harass the front. Marine drop goes in the back. That can work as well. There is a shield battery on the natural. I think Classic normally goes shield battery in the main as well. But he might have skipped it. Not sure if he went for double shield battery this time. He normally does that against double gas. He plays super safe. Comes back, gets the Reaper. Well done there. And it is just going to be a 4 Marine, 1 Cyclone drop. Boosting across that map. We'll hit about 4 minutes 10. It's a fast drop. If you're not on point with your gateway production, you can really struggle with this. Classic, though, already has a second and third gas coming up. Sentry coming in, which will give him some scouting potential. Robo. I do like that the drop's heading towards the main base, though. I think that's the correct angle. Like I said, he's going to be ready for the drop into the natural. That's where the battery is. That's where his units are. And Clem goes for the main base. He won't pick much off. He'll be lucky to get even 1 or 2 probes or a Stalker. Like, he damages that. What else does he get? He gets himself a probe, and he loses the drop. That's terrible! He gets a probe for a Marine. Gets in red hit points. This is not good for Clem. That's an overcommitment. Doesn't find much damage. And it really makes Classic feel confident. He should just send a probe and take his third base right now. He's actually going to go 4th gas. So Classic said, well, I might as well rush Storm. You've already made me build a lot of tech. Might as well go for the Templar Archives and the 3rd Nexus around the same time. I think that's perfectly fine. The earlier you get Storm and energy going for it, you know, the faster you can make some success. One of those SCVs that was meant to repair the medevac got blocked, unfortunately. Kind of spazzed out on the natural a little bit. Someone mentioned I shouldn't say spaz is like kind of offensive. I just mean spaz like literally spasmed, like kind of just had an uncontrollable, you know, emotion you couldn't do. Like a muscle spasm. Templar Archive's almost finished. 3rd Nexus has started. Charges started as well. Extra barracks coming down. 1 more gas. Clem wants to get forward on the map. He does not want to sit at home. Oh, this is a very decisive push. The 2 Banshees coming in. Did he bother with Cloak, guys? Because if he did and he snipes the Observer, the Banshees can be great, but there's 2 Observers, I think. Okay, how close can he siege the tanks? Very close, apparently. Oh my lord, what a push. He's already got rid of 1 of the Observers. And both tanks get sieged. Oh, Classic, he immediately rebuilds 2 pylons, but that's 2 pylons and a 3rd Nexus going down. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I don't know if he canceled that 3rd Nexus. He might have done it. I'm not quite sure. And these Banshees, they did go Cloak. He's not just using them as damage support. Pretty rare to do that, but it is occasionally something we see. The Banshee's going to rotate around. Already a successful push for Clem. He's just got a macro behind this. He could keep pushing, though. He's not going to go to the natural. He's just going to try and clear these, saying, hey, if I kill a gate, a Cybercore, 2 pylons, this is so much value. Cyclone's sitting a bit far forward. That's a vulnerable target, but Classic right now is in so much trouble, man. Uh-oh, Banshees are a bit exposed. Oh. Clem does watch, though, and then he cloaks them. The Stalker's Immortal's going to blink on top. Very well done. Those tanks disappeared almost instantly. Whoa, Classic with a blitzing cleanup. I think he just took Clem to town. Clem was looking so good. He did get rid of the gateway, the Cybercore, and 1 pylon on the high ground, so he got good value out of the army. It would have been hard to get home. Do you guys think he should have gone home? Could he have made it home? If he committed his whole army to retreating, I think he might have made it home. Would have probably been better. But if he can defend, he's still in a pretty good spot here. Tree's out of range there. Bio and tank are set up on this natural. Stim's done. Shield's almost there. Recall comes in, feedback not enough to deal with the Banshee. Classic rebuilding his third, but he's finding himself in an awkward position where building a lot of High Templar and banking energy is crucial for him. Because, yeah, it's 2 base against 2 base. That's good for Terran. He's got mules. I like the way I said, yeah. Like, that was, yeah. Oh, my God. Like, can I, like, commentate an entire StarCraft game like this? Sorry, it's nails on a chalkboard to me as well. It was totally unintentional the way I said it. But once I heard it, I had to make fun of myself. Banshee barely survives. Good micro for Clem. You can see the volley got off because the Banshee left detection range. It did cancel the projectile on that. That one does go down, gets itself just 1 probe. I don't think Clem should be pushing right now. I don't know if he could deal with the amount of storm here, but actually Classic just misses him. It's perfect. He's going to get so many probes before the fight even starts. There's a lot of storm, but he's in between the High Templar and their base. He could have gone deeper. Clem should have gone deeper. I actually think Clem should have pushed into the natural and the main base. Storm does take out a few of these units, but only a few of them, man. Clem's got crazy damage, picks up and runs away now. His supply is so good. I don't think he could push into this army. But because he got past him and Classic had so little map control, he didn't see it. That's crazy. Piggy should Valley Girl an entire salt mines. It'd be kind of funny if I did like a Valley Girl voice for someone who's raging in the salt mines for a whole episode, right? They're like, you should like get cancer and like die because you're like such a loser. It's like the opposite of what you imagine the voice to be when someone's calling you names in a StarCraft match, but that could be a fun twist. Normally I think of Regina George from Mean Girls when my opponent's telling me I'm a loser and I suck and my race is overpowered. Fire moving in for a nice counterattack, guys. This is very well done for Clem. His army's so damaged though. His third base will go down. If he's not watching his main army and he loses it to a storm, that could be a problem, but I think he can defend his natural. And he quickly lifts the command center, pulls the SCVs, he throws down an emergency wall off. That was a brilliant response. And he's dodging storms in the picture-in-picture in that up in Clem's Classic's natural as well. Widow Mines and Viking and a Liberator. I told you Liberators wreck Classic, guys. It's just 1 Liberator, but it does help out. He's got a squatter buyer. This is a very expensive push. Classic has so few units left, and even just a few Marauders. You know, it looks like it's going to make him pay a massive price. Classic's natural's going down at the same time. And as long as Clem holds onto his main production while killing everything on the other side of the map, he's going to be good. And he even holds onto his natural. The SCVs suddenly become good fighting units when there's no Zealots, Archons, or Storms left over. And Clem is going to be able to take control. That really good tank push on that third base. Classic didn't expect that. There was a hole in his vision. If I had access to the replay, I would almost certainly go and look at his point of view in the previous 30 seconds to that first big tank push. I imagine he didn't see that move out. I think if he saw that push move out, he might have been better prepared. Clem finding some success with his early pushes. GG. All right, guys, we got Clem in the top left, Classic in the bottom right. It's Ruby Rock, Classic on his last life. Clem getting some nice revenge from their recent matches. We were just talking a little bit about Rainbolt and GeoGuessr pros and some of the fun quotes that pop up if you watch a bit of GeoGuessr content. There will be interesting quotes that sound like they're jokes, but not like, oh yeah, that's Brazilian dirt, after literally looking at a shot of some road in the middle of nowhere for 0.1 of a second. Like, yeah, that's clearly Brazilian dirt. And you're like, what? Like, yeah, this is northern Polish grass and stuff. You're like, oh my God. The amount of just kind of studying and accumulating knowledge and recognizing patterns is really cool. Because that's GeoGuessr is, you know, very purely about that, as well as a bit of analysis of like where the sun is and stuff, northern, southern hemisphere, the basic things. But it's fun. It's always fun to watch people that have memorized such a vast amount of patterns to identify where things are. Kind of similar skill to StarCraft, and StarCraft's also, or any game really, about memorizing a vast amount of patterns so that you can instantly do things without thinking about them. But obviously in StarCraft, the other guy is constantly changing the image you're looking at and showing you images to trick you and stuff. So it's kind of like GeoGuessr if you had to drop mushrooms right before the match started. and we're hallucinating. Or at least if you're playing a very good opponent. These two are a bit more straight up with each other than obviously like a hero or a dark match. SOS show match we saw earlier with Scarlet, which was really struggling to read what he was doing. Twilight Council has just now started. And you can see that early shield battery, guys. Now notice this was a 1-Rex expand, wasn't it? No, this was a double gas. 2 Reaper Alien. Okay, sorry. Look at me talking about GeoGuessr when I should be focusing on build orders. Gonna lose a Reaper for nothing. Clem's face, you could see his face kind of scrunched up there. Bit of a grimace. Yeah, so it's a more aggressive opening. And you'll notice Classic didn't even bother with the battery in the main. So Classic's actually, I think, learned to be a little bit greedier with this build recently, which I really like. I like that he's not going double battery every game. He's already got such a reputation as such a safe player that you shouldn't be too predictable. You should go, okay, people aren't going to lean into the aggression as much against me. If people are going to do an early harass, it's almost always like a Widowmine drop, which is going to track. There's nothing that shoots up except the Widowmine itself. There's no way to hide this. Unless you drop the Widowmine, shoot the hallucination, and then hide the medevac. But it's going to come in from a surprising angle. He pulls it away there. Good pull away. Clem realized the Stalkers would come forward to intercept. And he's going to see those Stalkers coming. Good drop behind the grass. Oh, the Stalkers are going to get him. Stalker's going to get you. Great shepherding there from Classic. Dude, Classic is crushing Clem in this opening. Finally, a Reaper gets in the main, where it'll be promptly dispatched off by a Stalker. I could have pulled that probe away, would have kept it alive, but that's okay. 1 probe. Acceptable losses. He's got another drop on the other. Is that another mine drop on the right? Wait, did he go for 2 different mine drops, guys? Is Clem trying to overload Classic? Oh, okay. It's not really like a mass mine drop, but it's kind of like in that vein. Two Widow Mines in the main. 2 Widow Mines going in the natural. The medevac will go down in the main, which means no repeat drop there. This is an interesting opening. He's trying to overload Classic, but Classic, because he's dealt with the main so quickly, only 2 probe losses. All you're going to get here is mining time. Oh, okay, at least he can get back there. And this Widow Mine's not firing. Yeah, he's just going to have to let it fire. Blink to disable it. 1 mine survives in the back. Classic loses a lot of mining time while not having a 3rd building. That's the saving grace for Clem here. Classic lost a ton of mining time, didn't have a 3rd Nexus building. If his 3rd Nexus is like finishing right now, and he just chronos all 3 Nexus, he's so far ahead economically, and the mine drop not doing direct damage punishes Clem. As it is, it's a decent Templar Archives in 3rd base timing, but not amazing. Clem's economy has built very smoothly behind it, so even though Clem's traded inefficiently, he's been smoothly kind of doing everything else behind this, while Classic has been slowed down a bit. I still think Classic's position's a little better, but it's not as strong as it might appear at first glance, just looking at how the trade went. Nice little Stalker pressure. Chat says he's going 6-gate Blink against really late tanks. No, if this was Hero, that would be the case. This is not. Classic never makes more than like 7 Stalkers. Classic is part of my school of thought, where he's like an old school gamer who thinks Stalkers are bad. Hero and Max Packs have enough trust, enough trust that they're going to always make the Stalkers worthwhile. Classic has old man brain. He's like, I'll make like 6 Stalkers, but then I want to make units that are good, like Zealots and High Templar and stuff like that. Pig, he made 10 last game. I'm exaggerating, but he likes to keep it very low. He's nowhere near as aggressive. Like that 1 blink in is usually the maximum he'll ever do. I think he blinked in 1 more time on the front, actually. I don't know if he killed anything up there. We didn't get a picture-in-picture. Oh, good feedbacks. Oh my god, he gets the Templar Archives though! Clem with a sneaky drop in the main denies Storm! Oh, I thought Classic was all over this game! I thought he was all over this game, and then Clem's like, lol, siege tanks are for losers! His stim and medevacs kick in so early, even after doing 2 mine drops. 4 Widow Mines, 2 medevacs. He still hits such a crisp timing. This is what I said, is it Classic just does not scare him, because Classic never goes heavy on Blink Stalkers. He doesn't have to play safe with tanks and Raven and all that stuff like he does against Max Packs. and those other guys. Clem dives in, gets a few probes. He quickly runs away. The drop in the main redrops. Looks like it killed a Stalker, maybe 1 or 2 more probes. But Clem finds himself in the lead. But remember, this is the point where he's gotten a bit overextended previously at this stage. So he can pull back and chill, or he can just be very organized on his next attack. Templar Archives has just restarted. Classic is kind of screwed. He has no splash damage. Did charge get denied as well? 8 minutes, no charge, no storm. Well, the High Templar are just gathering energy in combat mode right now because they can't cast Storm. All they can do is feed back and throw snowballs. 9 more probes go down, and Clem might just run away with this series, as he is known to do. Oh, man. Dude, this is the thing about playing Clem is no matter what happens in a series versus Clem, there's always a chance he just slides in and gets out of control, but one has to give him credit. He's been cutting corners consistently against Classic, and I don't know if there's a way Classic could disguise going 4-gate blink, but I feel like if he could mix a 4-gate blink in while making it look like a normal play, or even just do like the MaxPax 3-gate blink aggression that MaxPax does so much damage with, he kind of has to do that. Like, I've noticed the same weakness for Estrella. Estrella and Classic god-tier PvT players. But once the Terrans adapt their style and realize, wait, you're never going to do a really tight 4-gate blink aggression, and the Terrans just beeline directly. They rush straight to stim Medivacs, skip the tanks. It's so difficult to deal with that. Good recall. Good recall on the Prism keeps it alive. It's just so early that the stim kicks in, and the Medivacs get over to your side, and yeah, it's hard. Obviously losing Templar Archives, the drop sliding in the main's terrible. Artosis goes down again, 3 gateways get depowered. The Artosis pylon, of course, famous for being left standing, trying to hold up the entire scene, much like Artosis with the StarCraft 1 streaming scene outside of Korea. One man and a whole lot of Mario Erotica trying to maintain the passion for the 27-year-old game that started real-time strategy esports on the big stage. Biomine Ghost Lib up there on the top side. And it's just Clem just wearing Classic down, sandpapering him down. Widowmine's getting a few good shots. Artosis got banned again. Well, you know, those modern snowflakes, they can't handle the authenticity of Mario's stiff member. Sorry, I'll stop. Anyone who's not been in Artosis' channel is severely confused about what we're talking about right now. Anyone who has been in his channel understands exactly why Artosis gets banned. It's not his fault, it's the text-to-speech. Bio Ghost coming forward. Marine Marauder down south. Archon goes down. No, it doesn't. Barely survives. Oh, good blink as well. Clem loses 2 Medivacs there. Classic getting some Pyrrhic victories. Oh, nice little storm drop, but the Prism does get sniped. And the Bio there with that Liberator, Liberator, the sideways Liberator I like, kind of like a sideways cap. Clem just showing how cool of a dude he is. I wear my Liberators sideways because I'm cool like that. Bio goes just too much, dude. And look, Clem looks very happy. He's so happy. He knows he vanquished the big dog. I've given Maru as my prediction to win this whole tournament, guys. Maru does pretty well on Chinese soil historically. But that means if Maru gets through Reina in the next match, he's going to have to face Clem's Protoss. And that's the match we've all been dreaming of. If we get a best of 5 tomorrow, I'm sorry, Reina, I want you to lose. Reina Clem would be a great semi. I want Clem's Protoss versus Maru. Reina, take one for the team. I know you're in amazing form in ZVT right now, but I want to see Clem's Protoss against Maru. Either way, GG, well played. Clem beast modes it on that massive stage. Look how big this stage is. It takes forever to walk across it. This is like the length of a basketball field. Basketball court, that's what it's a court, right? The basketball and tennis and those kind of non-grassy sports. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Next series, Reina versus Maru.